And I picked that up from a book called Force by Michael Matesi, who is an animator. You see the masculine thing is sort of like runs in a thread through Bernd Hogarth's dynamic thrust through Matesi's Force.
Hello, I'm Natalie Kim. This is a very cool tutorial with Jason Little, and he's going to talk about how to create the look of fabric in an illustration.
So she's wearing a dress. And she's got leg warmers on.
Yes.
Because she's a nerd dancer woman.
I guess when I was drawing, I would just try to draw the person in clothes. So the clothes would make the form instead of the body making the form.
It's just like sculpture. Perhaps you've seen like people making a clay body, and the first thing they do is use wire to build an armature inside it that's very skeletal. So drawing can be the same way, working from the inside out. Alright, so now we've got her costume pretty much figured out. She's barefoot, has leg warmers, she's wearing a nice dress that has bell sleeves. She's a little bit hippie, maybe. Alright, now here's the wrinkles, and I may do it quickly so you might miss it. So let's look at the skirt. The skirt's a very loose area. So there's tension between the top of the thigh, and gravity is influencing it. So there's going to be curves that come down like this. And so the skirt is kind of hanging from the hips. So there's tension between the hips. So there's pull in between the hips, and also in between, and sort of being stretched between the top of the thigh here and the outside of the thigh here. So there's pull in between those areas. And then there's also the pull of gravity downwards. So if there was no gravity, there would be pull straight across, but since gravity is at play here, there's also pull there. So there's sort of three factors of pull. So I'm just kind of like using my intuition to throw in some curved lines in between those points. The next thing to think about is that the torso is facing that way and the pelvis is facing this way. So they're rotating like that or like that. So that means that there's twist in the torso. So what I'm doing is I'm putting in the sort of curves, sort of S-shaped curves that you would use to draw the stripes on a barber's pole or on a candy cane. They're sort of like the shapes of springs or DNA or something like that. And so that shape is the helix. So these are helical wrinkles. And then sometimes the edge of the silhouette of the body gets a little bit of like sinusoidal undulation there. Let's see. Alright, now there's poke. So the places where poke happens are where things stick out. And so elbows are a great source of poke. And you'll often have tension, lines of tension emanating from that poke. So here, I know that there's poke in the elbow, so I'm having lines radiate out from that sort of center of poke. At this elbow, there's also bend. So there's going to be sort of a parenthesis-like shape at the center of that bend. And then there's also going to be bend in the other arm. I'll get to that in a minute. Other things that generate poke, buttocks, breasts, stuff like that. So there's going to be tension in between the breasts here. And let's see. So then there's tension between the armpit and the elbow here. And then there's bend at the crook of the arm there. So let's see. So we got pull, poke, twist, and bend. We haven't done compression. So this is a fairly form-fitting outfit. So compression usually manifests when we have sort of looser clothes. Fortunately, that's why I came up with the idea of putting leg warmers on this woman. I'm going to change the concavity of this line right there. Yeah, much better. So compression is where, so all this fabric are tubes of fabric. It's sort of cylinders of fabric. And so when those cylinders sort of get squashed by being pushed up or down on a limb, what you get is compression. And so compression manifests as these sort of like alternating curves, or sometimes they can be like potato eye shapes. And so you often see it when sleeves are thrust into pockets, they sort of bunch up. Or when shirts sort of ride up at waists, you get compression. So I feel like this is a pretty good example of compression, the leg warmers thing. Sometimes leather boots at ankles, you see these same kind of like potato eye like artifacts. So now it's just a matter of adding detail to make this feel like a real person.
So you build the foundation, the skeleton, you build the body,
right?
And then you essentially drape it with
I define the edges of the garment, and then I take the sort of what the body is doing and let my instincts try out different ideas for folds on that. And so there is a lot of trial and error with fabric. If you try curves in one direction and it just doesn't feel right, then try curves in the other direction. I often find myself slapping Post-it notes on my drawings to sort of test out different approaches.
That's a great hack.
Yeah, Post-it notes are huge in my teaching and huge in my own work too. I buy them in
light
quantity.
boxes, or?
And light boxes, exactly. So I can, if I make a correction on a Post-it note, then I can erase the area of the drawing that I've figured out the solution to, and then light box the correction from the Post-it note back onto the original drawing.
Fabric with Jason Little. This was a really, really wonderful tutorial. I hope you come back someday. Thank you, Jason Little. Have a great day, and
thank you.
Please like, subscribe, and comment.
And so I've done this character in this pose probably once a year, every year for 10 years.